Hey guys, this is CSDX, but you can call me Sean. Don't mind my hair, I just got out of the shower. I just realized I forgot to shave though. And this is, at least in my opinion, but this is one of the best video game sequels of all time. I've already explained this in my Mega Man Zero review from 2 years ago. Oh my god, it's been 2 years. But let me just summarize it as best as possible. Mega Man X5 came out and it was meant to be the final X game until Capcom went behind the series director Keiji Inafune's back to make X6, causing him to have to change plans for the planned Mega Man Zero series, while X6 also retconned the ending to X5. They did put in a cutscene where Zero seals himself away due to the Sigma virus, and despite them again retconning with that scene going from taking place at the end of X6 to an undetermined period after the end of the X series, which for now is X8, Inafune-san went with that scene as the base for Mega Man Zero. As I said, I've done a video on it 2 years ago, and I thought it was alright. It definitely had first game syndrome, which resulted in it being a total grindfest when it came to Cyber Elves and Energy Crystals, but it was an enjoyable start to the series. And then Mega Man Zero 2 happened and God himself shed a tear over how magnificent it was! So the game starts things off with Zero stuck in the desert somewhere fighting on his own while trying to find the Resistance base, as they relocated without telling him, not even a note was left. Zero is a bit damaged, and this is especially shown in the pause menu. Zero's been fighting for so long, so endlessly, that you can't even access all the sections here, and it's showing visible decay. That is amazing attention to detail. Zero soon becomes unconscious and is found by Harpuya, now the leader of Neo Arcadia after we unalive the original one. Oh wait, shouldn't you be dead? We're soon introduced to Elpizo, and after looking more into his character online, he's really not that bad a villain at all. His backstory is pretty interesting, as he was but a janitor at Neo Arcadia that was given big shoes to fill as the Resistance's commander. And once the story progresses and he learns about an entity of malicious power, it ends up being a very interesting journey for him, if not tragic. Oh, and if you couldn't already tell, he's the big villain here on that alone, his design should say enough. Like I said, he's a new commander of the Resistance, and as he's claiming to promise Seal that he'll wait on his plan for a full frontal assault against a massive controlling dictatorship that has countless weapons 100 times stronger than any of their guns. Is he a Second Amendment loving pro-gun nutcase or something? We find out that Zero has miraculously found his way to the base, and once we reunite with everyone and even meet a few new faces, the game is able to truly begin. The gameplay is largely the same as with the first game, but so much has been improved since. Most notably, it is no longer a grindfest when trying to raise elves. Let's check my elves list and... oh, that's right, this is my Switch copy, where I had to use every Cyber Elf to get a new form, which I will go over in a bit. Thankfully, I could check with my Xbox copy just fine, and yeah, the requirements are slashed completely into parts. So to recap, in the first game, in order to upgrade every Cyber Elf that can be upgraded, you needed 27,650 energy crystals, and I'm pretty sure you can only hold a maximum of 9,999 at a time in that game, but I could be remembering that wrong. In Zero 2, you only need 6,770. They clearly felt bad about how it went with the first game, and I appreciate that generosity. I mean, the health upgrade elf went from needing 750 to just 250, and this elf that goes from fatal spikes to damaging spikes only needs 200 and then 500 energy crystals. This is leagues better than it has any right to be. I take that last part back, this should be leagues better, period. There are also some adjustments to the weapons, most notably the triple rod, which was probably only best used as a pogo stick on bear traps, being replaced with the chain rod, a sort of grappling hook that doubled as a whip to pull blocks and remove shields from certain enemies. There will be stages where there may be a gap you can't cross, which would require you to use the chain rod to swing across, especially here. Just make sure you swing enough times and/or are accurate. Now, I mentioned earlier that I am playing on my Switch copy of the JJJreact Legacy Collection, and in fact it's on an already finished file, and you're probably wondering, why? Why did they demand perfection for these? It tends to be a classic Mega Man and Mega Man X staple that you gain a boss's ability as a weapon, such as the Metal Blade and the Boomerang Cutter. Interestingly, this was absent in the first game, and the special skills called EX skills were attacks you would see the boss use as a sort of reward for maintaining an A rank and even an S rank. Here, now you can get the EX skill from a boss, but with some prior requirements. For whatever reason, they decided you need to be either A rank or S rank to get each of them, meaning you have to maintain said ranks for about 2/3 of the game, meaning you needed to avoid as much damage as possible, speed through the stages as fast as possible, defeat enough enemies, and you cannot use a single cyber elf, so you got no upgrades for health, damage, etc. Get freaking bent! They did kind of compensate this by making a few cyber elves that will automatically make you A rank, but you only get 4 of them. So if you use them all up before getting all the EX skills, you might as well start all over or load an earlier save. Why does this game demand perfection from me? Oh wait, I'm supposed to be propping this up as one of the best sequels of all time. What the hell am I doing? Okay, I guess I could ask if they're that important to get? Well, about 6 of them get a boost when you use an elemental chip with them, so I'd say yes, but I'd also say it's up to you since they are optional. But there is one for the chain rod that lets you just stand there and slowly consume the health of an enemy till it literally explodes. So I'd say yes, they're freaking worth it. Maybe I should bring this up in therapy. Well, at least in terms of the sub-tanks, you can find 2 of them without needing to use cyber elves for them, and the forms you can unlock are more easily attainable for the most part. Yeah, so if you do some specific actions, usually during a mission, you can unlock a new form, which is unlocked by the end of it, alongside the EX skill if you managed it, and the elemental chip if it's a level you can get it from. They do actually matter more than just being skins, they have an effect on your stats even. In fact, the rolling dash and rolling jump slashes from the first game, now they're relegated to a specific form. And as for the aforementioned form I got by unaliving all the cyber elves I collected, that's the ultimate form. The stats aren't fully maxed out, but it's good enough that it makes a massive difference. Also, I can't help but notice it looks a bit familiar. It's probably nothing. I also opted to use the screen filter for the game to see what it's like, but I admittedly wish it was more like the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance NSO one that reproduces the classic feel, aka puts on an LCD filter, to make it look better while smoothing out the pixels, because now Zero's face looks like mashed potatoes. Oh, I couldn't find a place to bring this up, but in the first game there were 100% missable cyber elves, which, in my initial playthrough on the Switch, I had to go through the game twice to get the ones I missed. Copy X Mach 2's EX skill can suck my Thankfully, none of the cyber elves here are missable. You can even re-enter stages to get them if you missed any during the mission, because you were too focused on perfection because of the goddamn EX skills and the music. Oh my god, the music! It's a damn near perfect soundtrack, enough said. Hey, I got a joke for you. What do you call the comments of a salty dumb f*** angry about Marvel Spider-Man 2 being what they think is woke? Wounded Edge! Now, Elpizzo eventually breaks his promise to wait on CL to make an alternate and renewable energy source, which she's making in hopes of attaining peace with Neo Arcadia, and opts to go through with his all-out assault on said place. Oh, what a shock. It was an absolutely massive failure, just like the insurrection of 2021. Eventually, Elpizzo goes rogue and even takes 2 baby elves with him that CL was studying, likely in relation to her energy research, and he opts to use them in an attempt to gain power, as he's gone mad from not just the failure of his actions, but at the promise of power with a being that was believed to have caused tons of casualties, the Dark Elf, as he plans to literally commit mass genocide on the humans living in Neo Arcadia. As for the Dark Elf, they're shrouded in mystery for the time being, but all we know is that they were split in 2 and locked away so as to never again cause the damage they caused. Also, X is back because of the situation at hand, though he doesn't feel much more involved compared to the first game, and I'm pretty sure he only showed up like 3 times in that one. Along the way, we fight the 3 remaining Guardians along with rematches with them, where Leviathan and Fafnir beef up to fight Zero as they're more focused on the thrill of facing him, while Harpooya fails to stop Elpizzo, and gets possessed by the baby elves in the process, showing just how freaking dire the situation truly is with how he turned into Mega Salamence. Eventually he succeeds in finding one half, and we try to stop him from getting the second half, but are unable to do so as he sprung a trap on us and undoes the seal of the Dark Elf's second half, destroying X's body, which was used as a seal and was why he had been considered missing outside of his appearance as a sort of cyber elf in his own right. You know, I'm trying to sell this as one of the best sequels of all time, and this exposition I suppose is nice, but like, I feel like I would like more detail on knowing what the hell is going on. Like, maybe a prequel game showcasing the Elf Wars. I hear a lot of people would like that, and it would hopefully explain a lot more as to why X sealed himself away to seal away this Dark Elf, on top of the fact that somehow his body was there, but his soul wasn't, and then his body's destroyed, and his soul... And then... I think you get my point with this, right? And so, Elpizo fuses with the Dark Elf and the Baby Elves, and this transformation sequence... This is what I love about this game so much. In these portraits, you can see how evil the Dark Elf's power is. The music that comes with the full reveal is perfectly executed and perfectly fitting, and when you get to the second phase, he makes the most distressingly upsetting pain scream I've ever heard in my life. Everything about this boss fight goddamn rules. The eldritch abomination that Elpizo has become. The music showing how dire the situation is and how Elpizo needs to be stopped. The setting of a ruined area where X's remains lie scattered. I might be making that part up. The screams of terror that Elpizo makes. I love this battle. Upon defeating Elpizo, he thanks Zero for stopping him as he finally came to his senses, and as he's about to die, the Dark Elf for some reason turns light, salvaging Elpizo and turning him into what appears to be a cyber elf in his own right. That's actually very interesting. I wonder if that's what happened to X. Speaking of which, X comes by to explain that the Dark Elf wasn't always dark or evil, as it actually put a stop to the Maverick Wars, and that a man named Dr. Weil did something to it to make it this way, which then caused the Elf Wars. Zero comments that he feels like he knows her, and credits roll! You know, somehow this is far less of a painfully score-deducting sequel bait than even Halo 2. Oh, we got a post-credits cutscene. Oh my god, who the hell, what? That's better. Who the hell was that? Was that Dr. Weil? Who's Omega? Does he have a battle cry for him? Well, buy and play the third game to find out, I guess. This game, despite my complaints, is honestly so friggin' amazing. I mean, yeah, the EX skills and the process to get them is really dumb, especially when the classic and X games allow you to get them just by beating a boss and that's it. But the forms are neat to use, the controls are tight, the story and gameplay are expanded in a very neat manner. The music, again, is friggin' phenomenal, and Elpizo, even with his flaws as a villain here and there, I'd say he's a good villain, very tragic character. Now don't worry, I am not going to take another 2 years to look at Mega Man 03. In fact, it's going to take about 5 to 20 years if I live long enough. By the way, I am begging you to buy and play the 0ZX Legacy Collection. You'll love it, and we might just get a third ZX game thanks to that. Just trust me, that's why I want one. It's actually story related. Also, I can't help but notice it looks a bit familiar. I forgot to fix the fan. That's gonna show up on the mic incorrectly. boy. My apologies.